Hey, what's up, everybody? JayC here with another live stream. Starting a little bit early because I am trying out some new features, and I thought in case we have some, some technical glitches that we'd get them out of the way before everyone really arrives at the normal 7:30 starting time. So first, let me just see who's in the house. Prophet 924, Quinn's Comics, Blake's in the house, Dark Vader. Can you guys hear me okay? That's the first thing. Everything sounds good so far. What's up? Stanley's Toy Channel's here, Cast 2323. Okay, you guys can hear me? Good. All right. So I'm just going to go. Actually, let's so there we go. So with the new features, I can highlight your guys' comments and stuff. So just something I thought I would try out. But let's also so flipping over to the live screen. Can you guys still hear me? And then the review studio, the split screen. Can you guys hear me? And then finally the review studio itself. Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me on all channels. Good. Well, then I guess we can get started. So I got to work with those little banners, but yeah, anyway, sorry. Playing with the new toy. So anyway, so I don't have a huge agenda for tonight. Unfortunately, I was hoping that a package from Big Bad Toy Store was going to arrive. The tracking number said it was supposed to arrive today, but it didn't. So my guess is it's not going to show up until tomorrow. But that was going to be my unboxing. And actually, I was going to be taking a look at some of the stuff that was in there in the review studio. So instead, I just ended up throwing in the new Black Series figure, Hunter, from the Bad Batch. So I thought we'd take a brief look at that one. But originally, I was expecting the new G.I. Joe Classified Lady J and Flint to arrive from Big Bad Toy Store, as well as the Marvel Legend 2-pack with Black Widow, or not Black Widow, but the Black Widow movie 2-pack with the new Guardian and everything. So I was going to take a look at those. But best laid plans and all that. So today, or this week, in my opinion, and I guess opinions do differ based on who you ask, but we had another clusterfuck of exclusives at Target go on this week with both the Star Wars exclusives and the these Clone Wars figures, and then the Major Blood figure, of course. Now last night, if you happen to be sitting online at Eastern time, it was 3 a.m. If you were out west, then it was midnight. Then you might have had a shot at grabbing these figures off of Target's website, because they, totally unannounced, went up on Saturday night at midnight. Any sane hour than anyone sitting around shopping for action figures. So they lasted a couple hours. I think they were up till about Eastern time. They were up from again 3 a.m. to about 5, I think, is when most of them had sold out. When I got on this morning at about 7, then they were all sold out, or actually it was 6. They were all sold out. However, there was some options to be able to go to the store and pick them up. I'm not that much into these, so the store wasn't the closest store to me, so I wasn't really that interested in trying to get these. But like you can see, I don't trust this, because whenever it says it's in stock at a store, but it doesn't give you the option of buying and doing the in-store pickup, to me that says that it's not actually really at the store. But this morning, I think it was the Anakin figure was showing at one of the close, like maybe 20 minutes down the road store, where I could have bought it online and then picked it up at the store. But now they're all pretty much sold out. Now, if you want to get out, if you haven't seen these links, they're up on Jedi Insider, and you can check and see if your local store has it. But and whether they put more of these online at some point, I don't know. They did the same thing with the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle NECA 2-pack with the frogs. They threw it up at like in the middle of the night, and then of course they sold out pretty quickly, and so most sane people. So yeah, that was how this morning went. And then of course Major Blood is yet to be listed on Target's website, but who knows whether it will be or not. And then this whole week, people I've been seeing, I got to be honest, this kind of annoys me, is like I go in some of these Facebook groups for like GI Joe, and that's probably my first mistake, but I'll go in there and I'll see people that'll start throwing up these pictures of where they've scored 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sometimes. And I'm not saying all of them are scalpers in any way, though. A lot of them even are just collectors who are picking up more than one because they think they can trade it for something like a Viper or whatever that they missed out. I don't know. I kind of feel like something, if you're a collector, you should just stick, something like this. If it's an army builder, maybe go with 2, but for something like this, I feel like, 1. I mean, if you're picking it up for somebody else who couldn't be at the store, that's one thing. But if you're picking it up to resell or to trade for some other hard to get figure, I mean, I don't really see a huge difference whether you're picking it up to resell it or whether you're picking it up to get another figure that's now been hard to get and is going for a high price. So, but where I really get annoyed with it is where people start going, "Oh man, these are really easy to get now." And these are, of course, are people who are like, "Well, I went to Target every day this week, and finally, after day number 5, I was able to get lucky and find one because I happened to be there. I got lucky when they happened to come off the truck, and so I was able to get one." I mean, it's like, that's not easy to get. Easy to get is if I just happen to randomly go up to Target to get some, say, dog food or something, and there was the figure sitting on the shelves, then I could pick it up, and that's easy to get. Even I would even say easy to get is, okay, they're starting to hit stores. I go up in a few days, and I start seeing that people are finding them in stores. So I decided to go up and get it, or check and see if my store is there, and there's like one sitting on the shelves. But not easy to get. It's not easy to get if you essentially are having to try and figure out what time of day the figure is going to come in off the truck and then be there so that you can be one of the 6 people to get the figure. That's just, I'm sorry, that's just not, I don't care how many times you see people posting pictures online. That doesn't make it easy to get. And yes, some places stock them a little bit better. They've gotten, I think some stores have actually gotten 2 cases of 6 figures over the course of the last week or so, but that's still not really easy to get. Darth Vader says, "Get your Target NECA King Kong." Yeah, I getting most things that are NECA related, other than the turtles, I don't find is that difficult to find at Target, including like the King Kong and that stuff. There might be a few others that are hard to get, but the only NECA stuff that I really ever find difficult to find at Target, of course, is the turtle stuff. Now, I don't know if that's because Target is stocking the other stuff in greater number, or people are just buying less of the other stuff. That I don't know. What's up, Stanley's Toy Channel? So if you're just joining, I'm playing around with some new features. So far, everything's been pretty smooth. We started a little bit early tonight because I thought we might have some glitches. Lord Vengar says, I mentioned comic book based Marvel Legend figures. I'm getting pumped for classic Drax and more. Maybe. I can't say that I've heard anything about a classic Drax. I will tell you next week, we will be getting another round of Marvel Legend reveals. If you saw the thumb of this video, then you've gotten a hint of what is going to be revealed this coming Friday. There might be, I don't know if it's just going to be that or there might be some other things. And there might even be, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up announcing a live stream for this coming Friday. They did Transformers last week. I haven't heard anything yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if like Monday or Tuesday they announce a live stream. I don't think there's going to be any reveals tomorrow and Monday. We're getting a Monday off, it looks like. But later in the week, there definitely should be some comic book based reveals. Blake says, what about classic Marvel Beta Ray Bill? Again, not anything I've heard of, but it would be cool. I mean, we just got Beta Ray Bill, though, so I feel like probably not. What's up, Ed? So let's head over to the review station. So again, originally I was hoping to get a package from Big Bad Toy Store with some new G.I. Joe Classified, Flint, Lady J, and the new Marvel Legend 2-pack, but it didn't arrive today. Stupid FedEx and their tracking number. But so I threw this in the station instead. The new Black Series Hunter figure from the Bad Batch, which I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, about the series itself. And, are you enjoying it? I thought so far the series has been pretty good. Not super eventful, but they definitely are focusing a lot on the Omega, the kid. But that's really kind of in keeping, it seems like every Star Wars series has to have some type of kid-type character in it. So, but we got Hunter here, the leader of the Bad Batch. And overall, I got this one off of Big Bad Toy Store. I haven't seen, actually, I take that back. I did see this figure once at Walmart, but I knew it was coming from Big Bad, so I got it from there. But I actually have seen this figure at least once at retail. Not a lot, but at least once. So he's got the knee pads there, which are done with the soft rubber, so it doesn't limit the movement. That's pretty nice. And he's got, I like how they've given him like some ding marks on his armor. So it's not like a perfectly clean looking armor. So I do like that. Again, you have like the little scratch marks. Now they've given him a number of weapons. So they gave him this larger blaster, and then they gave him the smaller pistol. They did not give him a holster to store the pistol. And he's got this backpack, which is just a solid piece of plastic. Just plugs in there. And then they also gave him his knife. And they did give him, I'm glad they at least gave him the sheath for the knife. And then you got some circuitry design on the blade. So overall, that's pretty nice. Oh, and then of course, so he's got the markings on the shoulder pads here. And zoom in a little bit. Maybe not. Having a problem getting focus, but yeah, he's got the markings on the shoulder pads, and then of course he does have the removable helmet. I think they've done a pretty good job with the head sculpt on this one. Looks pretty accurate to how he appears in the cartoon. Got the markings on his face here. Kind of makes a beard. I never noticed that before, but it kind of almost looks like a beard. He's got the bandana. Tech's actually the figure I'm looking forward to the most, which is he's going to be a deluxe figure. So, and I have Hunter too. I didn't bring him in here, but I have the other one that they released, Hunter. So, but Tech is probably out of the Bad Batch members is the one I'm looking forward to the most. All right, so let's see. Everett wants to know where Classic Crimson Dynamo is. I wish I could tell you. Yeah, I was really hoping we were going to get a Classic Crimson Dynamo, but eventually we probably will. He says, how are you? Hopefully we'll get word on anything Warrior 3. I haven't heard anything on Warrior 3. So I know a lot of people were hoping for that to be one of the store exclusives in the Infinity Saga line, but unfortunately, I don't think we're, maybe when the Thor movie comes out, maybe we could see them. I don't think they're going to be in the movie, but they might be able to squeeze something like that in a Thor wave. But I have not heard anything specific for that at this time. Quinn's Comics, is it me or is there a delay in the video and audio? Well, it's possible. So I'm relying on you guys to tell me that kind of thing. But like I'm using StreamYard so that I can highlight your guys' comments and using OBS with that. So now when you guys say a delay, is it like my mouth isn't moving with my words, or Key says 1/2 second delay, no big deal. It's all good. All right. Well, I'll tweak it for next time. So, like I said, all right. Well, let's go back to talking some other news. So, we got new images today for those Spawn figures. So we've seen some initial images for these, but now we're getting better looks. So this is the mega figure that is supposed to be, I think, around 12 inches or so. Now, the articulation doesn't look fantastic on this one. I can't even tell if he has any elbow joints. Doesn't look like it. And that one's, you know, again, that's the mega figure. So that one is going to cost $49.99. We got Gunslinger Spawn, which I still think might end up being a store exclusive, but I don't know for sure. I'm thinking Target, but that's more of a guess than anything. Only because there was no listing found for this one in the GameStop system. All the others were listed, but not that one. Clown. Again, articulation seems, he does have elbow joints, which is good. It looks like he's got elbow joints. So definitely better than the Violator. And of course the Clown's going to cost $40. The detail is nice. Another cool one. Raven Spawn. This is probably, out of the design wise, this is probably my favorite. Redeemer. And detailing on the wings and everything looks good. So McFarlane says that he'll be announcing when these go up for pre-order pretty soon. Now, again, if you go into, I've talked about this before, but if you go into your local GameStop, you can actually, they're not listed online, but you can actually pre-order them through GameStop. And then Previews Magazine, Diamond Distributors, has listed them in the new Previews Magazine. So you could probably go into your local comic book store as well if you wanted to get them through, your comic book store. And then places like, our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store, will probably, whenever they officially go up for pre-order, will likely have them. Ninja Knight says the lack of articulation on the Spawn figure puts him off on them. Yeah, I mean, like Gunslinger looks pretty good to me, but as far as articulation, I mean, he doesn't look bad. Redeemer doesn't look bad. Clown, I mean, I don't expect Clown to be super articulated anyway, so as long as he can move his, doesn't look like he has knee joints. Unless he has he might have a swivel up here. It's hard to tell. But he doesn't have actual bending. Doesn't look like he has actual bending knee joints. And then Violator probably is the least, I'm guessing is probably the least articulated. It's probably going to be more of a statuesque type figure than a highly articulated one. Random Stuff says Violator looks dope. Starkiller says, I hear through Facebook comments of this reveal, GameStop sold out of Violators and Clown right now. Oops. Well, GameStop has had them up for, you could go into the GameStop store and pre-order these for about a month now. So I don't know if they were supposed to be taking pre-orders for them that soon, or they just kind of jumped the gun. But it's been about a month since people started saying that they could go into their GameStop and pre-order them directly in the store. Sam Brock says, just give us what we want. I get tired of seeing toy companies doing what they want instead of what their customers want. That can be tricky because you could ask 20 collectors what they want and you could get 20 different answers. I mean, believe it or not, like when it comes to articulation, some people just aren't, they don't care. They put it on their shelf and they never move it or touch it or anything. So they really are just looking more for a statue type thing. Action figures are generally cheaper than statues. So if you're trying to save money, so I can kind of understand that point of view, but it's not my thing, but I can certainly understand those who might have that point of view. JJ, any ideas for House of X Wave 2? I don't think there's going to be a House of X Wave 2 because that's not to say we might not see more House of X figures, but Hasbro said, and when they were doing their round of interviews and stuff, they said that after the second Age of Apocalypse wave, they're going to be going back to more random, choices of characters. They're not going to be doing story set themed waves. So I won't say never, but at least after the next wave after Age of Apocalypse should be a mix of figures. So again, we might see a few House of X figures thrown in there, but it's not going to be a solid wave of them. The man from Room V. These companies know all too well that collectors are mindless consumer zombies, plain and simple. That's kind of harsh, but I won't say you're totally wrong. As in, I think over the years, these companies have seen people that go online, they bitch and complain, but then they go and they buy the stuff anyway. So, if you really want to get a company's attention, you got to speak with your wallet, but that requires a combined effort. So people, if you say you hate something, but then you turn around and you go and you buy it, the action of buying it's going to speak louder than any words you might say on social media or any place else. And that's kind of like same thing with the exclusives. People say they hate exclusives, but then they run to Walmart and Target to buy all their action figures. People are running to Target and Walmart's every day of the week to see if they can get lucky and grab some of these exclusives. Well, that's exactly what they do these exclusives for. So when everyone does that, well, they're kind of, their actions are saying something different from their words. Big Money Collector. If I had to pick the next G.I. Joe classified character, who's my pick? Mine would be classic Storm Shadow. I wouldn't mind Storm Shadow, though. I don't. When we get like more of a regular Storm Shadow, I don't think it's going to necessarily be the classic one. I think, we've seen artwork for essentially their classified version, with the big arm tattoo and everything. So I think that's probably what we'll end up getting, which I don't think actually is a bad looking figure. I could probably do without the big arm tattoo, but the overall design of it didn't look bad to me. But if I had to pick a character that I wanted to see next, and it wouldn't be a Target exclusive. But I would either go with oh god, there's so many that I want to see. It's hard to say, but I guess a Crimson Guard soldier and or the Crimson Twins. I think I would probably want to see next. Crimson Guard soldier is probably my favorite Cobra army soldier. So that, you know, like I'm like, yeah, we're getting an Alley Viper already, really? Before we get like a Crimson Guardsman? That sucks. I've never been a huge fan of the, you know, bright neon orange Alley Viper. So I definitely would rather see a Crimson Guard soldier. And then, of course, if you have the Crimson Guard soldiers, you've got to have, you know, Tomax and Zaymot. So collectors are always concerned the next figure will be the last. So they buy one that is not fully accurate or not the cooler suit that is nostalgia. Well, I assume you're talking about like when Hasbro goes and redoes a figure that's better the second time around, you know, like US Agent. Like I probably like the new Disney Plus US Agent. You know, it's not a very good figure, let's be honest. I understand it was probably because they didn't have access to the final outfit before they had to go forward with the figure, but it's not a great figure. But I'll probably still end up getting it, mainly just because I do want to be able to complete the wings for the Falcon figure. And I mean, I'm a big US Agent fan, so I take what I can get. But yeah, there's a reason why with like the Tomasi Nation stuff that I quit buying their first round of figures, because it seems like, you know, they were also doing that pattern of, you know, releasing better versions. And it's bad enough when it's a $20 figure, but when it's like a $60, $80 figure, it's just like, yeah, I can't do multiples of the same character to get a better version. So I generally, you know, have started just passing on the first round of like Avengers and stuff that they've been doing, and then wait for the updated versions. Quinn's Comics wants a Pentor with Air Chariot. It wouldn't be my top 5, but I definitely would be cool to see. Lord Vengar agrees. CJ Snake Eyes wants Shipwreck Spirit, and I'm going to say Mutt Junkyard for Cobra Side, Torch, Buzzer, and Ripper. I think out of those Joes, I would go with Mutt and Junkyard. I know a lot of people like Shipwreck, and I guess maybe if it was classic Shipwreck, I would be more inclined. It really depends on how it would look. Laser Rifle Trooper. I'm assuming you mean Flash. See, for Joe's, I think the next one I would like to see is either Stalker, classic Stalker, Snow Job, and Doc. I want to see them finish up the classic, you know, the original guys before we, you know, start getting things like Leatherneck or Wetsuit or even, you know, even like Roadblock. There were so many other Joes I would have rather seen before Roadblock, and you know, we've gotten 2 Roadblocks already. Jerry says, "Who's Snow Job?" He was their Arctic trooper, you know, their Arctic soldier, their original, and in my opinion, probably the best one out of all the Arctic guys they did. He had the skis that would fit on his backpack, and he had he came with actual skis. So I always thought he was cool as a kid. Cobra Frogman, that's another cool one. I could go for Well, I assume you mean like the Cobra eel. CJ Snake Eye Snow Job was the best Arctic one. Sounds like Blade Runner says, sounds like Snow Job is the Aquaman of the Joes. I don't know in exactly what way you mean. Torpedo is probably more fitting for Aquaman. Wild Bill would be cool, but then I'd want Dragonfly. Like the pilots, I'm less inclined on because I don't think we're going to get the vehicles. So, Ace, Wild Bill, Wild Weasel, those guys would be cool. But being we're never going to see their vehicles, I doubt in the classified line. It's like I'd rather have probably none. I mean, I'd love to get Cover Girl. But again, the Wolverine, I don't see that ever happening. Snake Torpedo was a seal. I wouldn't call him Aquaman of Justice League. Well, I don't know. Are you guys saying Aquaman's a bad character? I don't think Aquaman's a bad character. I definitely like I always like Torpedo better than Wetsuit. But I mean, I'm telling you, it's hard to get excited about classified because like I'm still waiting to try and get blood, and it's like, I'm sorry if I wasn't willing to drive up to my Target every day this week to see if I could get one. And apparently, so my local Target got last Sunday supposedly got their case of major blood figures. And then I didn't go to actually I did go to Target last Sunday. I went in the afternoon, not looking for major blood because I didn't think they were going to have them, and they didn't. But I was getting something else. But that was late in the afternoon. But somebody else had told me, who lives in the area, had told me that they had gone to the store when it opened, and they had somebody checking everything, and there was no indications of there being any major blood figures on last Sunday. But then later in the week, I talked to a woman, and she looked up on the computer, and it said that the last major blood figure was sold at like 11:30 a.m. that Sunday. So I don't know. And she said she never saw them, so she didn't know how that was. But so I don't know if that means they went out the back door or what the deal was. But and then they said that there was no indication of this Target getting any more cases anytime soon. Now I don't know if that's changed or not or what have you, but I could have run up to Target every day this week and probably not come away with anything, but I wasn't willing to do that. So I am, maybe they'll throw it up online. Of course, it'll probably be at 3 a.m. when I'm, God forbid I'm, sleeping. I guess I should just stay up all night and hope I can get one online. But again, I feel like these are just these hoops that they're putting out and like watching us like do these dog tricks to try and get these things. And it's just, I've kind of lost my patience with it. Kevin Lou just got back from Target for Major Blood, and the employee looks shady as hell. I try not to judge. I'm sure there's some bad apples, but we talked about the Clone Wars, and how they went up for pre-order last night on Target's website at like 3 a.m. Well, for those of us on the East Coast, it was 3 a.m. For those of you on the West Coast, it was a little earlier, midnight. But yeah, and they sold out in like 3 hours. and people and like, so like I made a post about it on Facebook, and some people are like, oh, what's wrong with that? You know, I'm up all night. I mean, you know, I used to be a late owl too, so I can understand some people who happen to be online, but let's be reasonable, and let's not try and act like that's like normal or you know, cool. I mean, it would be different, you know, if they actually had enough available so they lasted through the day. You know, if you put them up at midnight and there was enough available, you made sure there was enough available to last at least through the day, that would be one thing. But that's of course not what they did. They put up very limited supply. Even at midnight, 3 a.m, they still sold out in just a few hours. So they obviously did not put up a huge number of them. So, you know, it's to me, it's just ridiculous. Thomas Brock, did you see someone did a review of the new Masters of the Universe Revelation Battle Cat? I did. We actually posted about it on TNI this morning. The guy broke it up in 3 videos. I'm not sure where he got it from. There was another guy earlier in the week that had it in hand too, and he had taken some pictures. Vince had done that, and I don't know where they're getting it. I mean, the figures, the Masters of the Universe Masterverse should start hitting here in the US at least Walmart next month. So, you know, it's conceivable some Walmarts might start getting them in early. I don't know, but I don't think those guys got them from the United States. I won't swear to it, but I don't think. But that guy's video, he did 3 videos, but the one where he showed off the articulation, and the Battle Cat looks like has pretty good articulation. So I was actually pretty impressed with that. Yes, Masterverse figures will be at Walmart first, starting next month, and then everywhere. Based on what I've been told, they'll be available everywhere starting around August 1st. So if you have, you know, I'm not even. I mean, if I happen to walk into Walmart and I found one on the shelf, I might pick it up, but I'm not going to go hunting at Walmart trying to find them. I'll just wait till they go up for pre-order at some place like Big Bad Toy Store and just get them from there. But I definitely have been digging it. And also, I don't know if you guys saw, pop over. So this is the guy that Happy Pursuits is the guy that has got the video up. And this first one here with the articulation, that was in my opinion, that was the most interesting video that he did, because he actually walks through all the articulation, and it's pretty good. Even like the tail and stuff was articulated, which was nice. But then like this comic book art, this is issue number 2 of the prequel comic that's being put out by Dark Horse Comics. And I gotta say, that cover is gorgeous. You know, that's a really nice looking comic book cover. So if the cartoon looks nearly as good as that, yeah, and I mean, we have seen some of the animation, you know, some images. So I'm pretty happy overall so far with what I've been seeing with Revelation and the cartoon and the toys and stuff. So not everything's perfect, but you should have a playlist that organizes all of your different types of themes of figures, like Spider-Man. Are you talking about on my YouTube channel? I do have playlists back when I was doing reviews. Thank you, Frost, for the comment. I know Frost, so. What's up, Kyle? Michael, did I see the Snake Eyes trailer? You talking about the teaser one? I did. I can't say I was super impressed. I just don't like GI Joe. I mean, I know this is a Snake Eyes movie, not GI Joe specifically, but first of all, I don't like that Snake Eyes is such a focus of GI Joe. I don't like the ninja aspect of GI Joe is such a huge focus. I get why. I get from, that's probably more appealing to younger kids and stuff. But for me personally, I just don't find it nearly as interesting. When GI Joe back in the day went Ninja Force, I pretty much quit collecting the line. So I just the movie, and it just doesn't seem very much like Snake Eyes to me. It seemed more like they're turning Snake Eyes into a superhero, and that's what this is, their version of a superhero movie, with the, where they're showing the mask. I mean, there's a reason why Snake Eyes wears a mask, right? He got his face damaged in the Vietnam War. Now I can understand modernizing that a little bit, and I'm sure maybe his face will get damaged in some way, but why is he wearing this costume when his face is perfectly fine? It just, to me, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, it just doesn't seem very Snake Eyes like. And I don't even care. I know some people talk about the actor and, that Snake Eyes is supposed to be a blonde Caucasian dude. I don't even mind so much that they, change that up a bit. But I just, the overall, there's just not much about Snake Eyes to me that I saw in that teaser trailer. And to me, it's more like they're just trying to make a superhero type, movie. DJ, I was not a huge into the ninja part of it. Snake Eyes isn't even a favorite character. I'm more of into Storm Shadow. Well, I always liked, I liked the original, story of Storm Shadow, and like one of my favorite comic book stories with GI Joe, back in the Marvel days was when Storm Shadow was trying to figure out who killed his master, and of course it ended up being Zartan. And he had joined Cobra to essentially get the answers to that question. But he ended up going on Cobra Island, and he ended up getting shot, and everybody thought he was dead for a little while, but it turned out he wasn't. But like that story arc was like one of my favorite runs in the GI Joe comics. Yeah, I guess if Snake Eyes isn't your favorite character, it's kind of funny you named yourself after. Reg H. Rumors are that Galactus is the next HasLab. Is there any chance, or have you heard anything about getting more Galactus heralds or herald waves such as Firelord and Walker and stuff? I have not. We've got the Walgreens figures that are cosmic themed, so conceivably I could see them sticking a herald in there. Who knows? Maybe they'll even add a herald figure with, if in fact it is Galactus, which I think it is, but I don't know for sure. But they could possibly, as an add-on, add a herald figure to that as well. Firelord is probably the one I would be most interested in seeing. But to answer your question, no, I've not heard anything specific. Michael's going to see the Snake Eyes movie. I don't, I'll wait. I mean, I'll see it eventually, but will I go out on opening day and see it? I don't know. See, part of it with GI Joe in the movies and stuff is just the track record is just so bad. I just, the last two movies were not very good in my opinion. At least the second one was a little better in keeping with, like, portraying Cobra characters and stuff, but still overall I did not think it was a very good movie. and it was better than the first one, but it still wasn't a great movie. And so, you know, the track record's just not there. If the last two GI Joe movies were like really awesome, I would be probably more open minded about Snake Eyes. But you know, based on that track record and then what we've seen so far, I just I don't find myself terribly hyped for it. All right, probably going to wrap it up here pretty soon. I know it's kind of a short one, but since you know, again, I was hoping that package was going to arrive today so we could open that up. I was planning on spending a little more time, so I didn't really have much else in the pipeline today. So again, on the Marvel Legend front, we are getting more reveals this week on Friday, so possibly even maybe another live stream. I don't know that for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if they announced a live stream for this coming Friday for Marvel. But whether there's a live stream or not, there'll definitely be some comic book based stuff. Again, as to what, at least one of the things, your clue is in the thumb of this video. Yeah, the Lady J, you know, we've got that Lady J live action show, but my thing is, why G.I. Joe is a team? Why not do a team thing? Why focus on one character? I mean, you know, if you want to have episodes that focus on Lady J, I think that's great. But why would you base the entire series on just one character? I mean, I'm sure other characters will show up in it, but I just feel like, and I saw today, and I don't know, I haven't looked into it very much, but I saw today something about rumors of a Chuckles movie coming or something, you know, where it leaked out. It's probably bullshit, but I saw that headline come across one of my feeds today, and I was like, yeah, okay, Chuckles. Kyle says they're trying to follow the success of MCU and build up to GI Joe. I could kind of see that point of view, but I just don't. I mean, GI Joe is not the Avengers, so I don't know. I just feel like you should start off with an origin story of GI Joe with, you know, the core characters and go from there, and like, you know, build up to Cobra and think like the first GI Joe movie doesn't even have to be, if you were doing kind of an origin thing, you know, you could definitely like pick the characters you want to focus on and then show like stuff that they're doing before they even became GI Joe members, and then kind of develop why GI Joe needs to come into being and how Cobra you know, rises to power, becomes this, you know, big terrorist organization and things like that. Those I think would be cool aspects, but I don't know. JC, why don't you make an app for TNI? It would be easier that way. We've tried apps before, but I mean, it TNI is set up that if you're looking at it on a mobile device, it works. You know, it looks different than it does if you're looking at a desktop. So it just really didn't seem much need for an app. And I mean, it's not like making an app would be easy. And I mean, an app usually has a specific purpose. And I mean, for TNI, your main purpose is to go and look at news. So I don't know. a number of reasons, but I just never really felt that there was a huge need for an actual app. You know, when I go to like CNN, I mean, I know there is a CNN app, but I just usually plug in CNN.com in my browser and look at it that way. I'm old too, so, you know, I didn't grow up on apps, so. But specifically to answer your question, we did make sure that, you know, the site was more easily viewable in, you know, there's a mobile version and there's a desktop version essentially, even though it's not as an actual app. You can kind of create your own app. Like if you just want like something, you know, an icon on your phone that's pushed to take you straight to TNI, there's actually a way to kind of make that yourself. Thanks, Raven. Always good to have new subscribers. Always forget to hit the subscribe. But yeah, definitely if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, please do. So, trying to think if there's anything. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Dwight Stahl posted like right before we went live. He posted up a new image of the Ironmonger fighting the Mark III. You know, both of these are new Infinity Saga figures. So this Ironmonger is said to be just under 9 inches tall. But gives you kind of an idea of what it looks like. Now, I got to be honest with the Ironmonger. I think I would have preferred it if either done one of two things. Either made an Obadiah separate figure like they did, but then have the ability to open up the top and have, you know, because I can understand that maybe if you just made the Ironmonger hollow so that you could put the, you know, figure inside it, it might not work too well as far as articulation goes. So if I actually had to pick between a separate just Obadiah stain figure or one in the armor, I would have actually rather had them put him in the armor where you could like open up the top and then you could see the top part of his body. You know, even if it wasn't removable, that's what I would have actually probably rather seen them do as opposed to doing just a separate figure. I mean, at $70, I'm almost like you could do it both. You could give us the separate figure and then you could put the, you know, have it so it could open up and have the, you know, upper body of Obadiah in there. But if I had to choose, I actually think I probably would have rather had it so that the Obadiah was inside the Ironmonger than just having the separate figure outside that you really can't do much with. Yeah, and that wasn't a bad figure. It was a little bit on the small side. So, but yeah, that they did do that with the original Iron Man version, and I again, I kind of would have preferred that. Jerry says, "Let's talk Mortal Kombat." What do you want to talk specifically about, Jerry? I think I talked about this before. I didn't think Mortal Kombat was bad, but I didn't think it was as good as I was hoping it was going to be, and I didn't think it was as good as the original. there were definitely things about this movie that were better than the original. I thought the fight choreography was better and the overall special effects were better, but I just kind of enjoyed the original more than I did this one. I mean, I'm glad I was able to watch it at home. I don't think I would have gone to the movie theaters to see it, but and I was disappointed that Johnny Cage, we only got a tease for Johnny Cage at the end of the movie. Blake says, so put the cannonball figure in the armor. I don't think the armor opens up. So, I think it's a solid figure. So I don't think it opens. It's not like it's empty inside. But your half legless cannonball figure, is that what you're saying? Put him inside there? Michael says, what if in season 3 of Titans? Yeah. Well, I know officially they announced Titans. I haven't seen the official announcement for what if. I've heard the August date, but I haven't seen Disney Plus actually confirm that. But I mean, it's definitely going to be the summer. Maybe Feige mentioned it in an interview or something. I don't know, but yeah. And I think I don't know if I've talked about it here in the live stream, but I think I did, but a week or so ago, I caught up on Titans because I had not watched it when it was on the DC Universe streaming service, but now that they have it on HBO Max, I was able to watch it. So I finally got around to watching season 1 and season 2, and overall, I thought it was pretty good. So I'm definitely looking forward to season 3, see what they do. I know there's going to be characters like Scarecrow they're going to have in it, and I think Jason Todd's going to end up becoming, or I'm assuming Jason Todd is going to end up becoming Red Hood. Thank you, Capono Bear. Really appreciate it. I wish I had the power to make more figures. I really do, but I do appreciate the super chat donation. And am I excited about the Batman animated series? Well, definitely, I'm probably more excited than the Superman one, which looked like very much a kid-friendly show. But do I think it'll be as good as the original Batman the Animated Series? I won't say it's impossible, but if they just try and copy that formula, I don't think it'll work as well. So I kind of hope that they maybe do, try and be more original than just trying to repeat the Batman animated series. But definitely, it's got potential to be good. So we'll see how it goes. But like, as far as cartoons go, right now I'm probably more excited for something like Masters of the Universe, Revelations with, the Kevin Smith series or what have you. Endgame or Infinity War, Frost? Endgame, I would say, just because it's the conclusion. I've been watching 4 Batman series in HBO Max. They feel like it's been a while. I mean, Batman the Animated Series is one of those that you can go back and, at least in my opinion, and rewatch. Kind of like the X-Men animated series and Spider-Man. They were just that good. But I just feel like if they just tried to carbon copy that, it probably wouldn't work as well. Have I seen the Kickstarter for Animal Wars of the Kingdom? I've seen them do Kickstarters. I haven't seen if they've started a more recent one. I haven't seen it, but I am aware of them. Yep, Injustice is going to be the next Warner Brothers animated movie after the Long Halloween Night Part 2. So that should be kind of interesting. I don't know if it'll be good, but it should be interesting. Stanley's Toy Channel. Can I get your thoughts about the PowerCon exclusive stuff that happened? I'm not exactly sure. I saw that like they went up for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store, and I mean I'm aware of the PowerCon exclusives, but if something happened yesterday, I'm not up on it. So if you give me a little more details, then maybe I'll share my thoughts. Rumor has it the Batman Cape Crusader is going to go in a very different direction. It kind of sounded like it based on what they said and when they announced it. So more of a noir type feel to it. So I don't know. JayC, what's my thoughts on, or what is my favorite original trilogy Kenner Star Wars toy? That's a hard one because there were so many great toys back in the original Star Wars Kenner line. I'm going to give my top 3 things. The AT-AT, the actual plastic one, not the cardboard cutout one. That was actually kind of cool for its time. But that and the Sandcrawler. But and the Sandcrawler itself was actually a pretty good toy, but I wouldn't put that in my top 3. But I would put the AT-AT. The Star Destroyer playset always was kind of one of my favorites, even though obviously it didn't really look like the Star Destroyer, at least from the outside, but I always thought it was cool. I always had like the little diecast Star Destroyer. You know, they had the diecast line of stuff. So I had the Star Destroyer that was the diecast that when I would play with them, I would use as like when you were like viewing it from the outside, and then I would use the playset one for like inside. And then I guess probably the Death Star playset is probably my favorite of all. That was just as a kid that had a lot of memories, and I can't tell you how many times I had to have my parents glue it back together. Would there really be an MK2 as they tease Cage, even if these movie box office lost to COVID? I don't know. Yeah, the movie industry is changing, and my personal feeling is, even though COVID is kind of coming to an end, the streaming service, the streaming formula is kind of taken on. So I suspect that we will continue to see movies at least have much shorter, from when they're released in the theaters to when they get home releases. But yeah, I mean, I've seen enough positive comments and everything about Mortal Kombat that I could see them definitely doing a second one. But we'll have to see, I guess. Classic action figure, the Millennium Falcon, the Cantina, and the AT-AT. The Cantina, well, the Falcon, yes, the Falcon was also a good vehicle at the time. The Cantina annoyed the crap out of me because it had those doors with the rubber band, and I don't know how many times those doors would just fly off and like the rubber band would pop off. it was like clockwork that the rubber band would like break or the doors would pop off or what have you. But that always annoyed me with the Cantina. And it wasn't very big. You couldn't put very many of the Cantina aliens on it. Rodney seasons classic action figures. Yes, Millennium Falcon and AT-AT. The Millennium Falcon was, obviously compared to the more recent one, the BMF one, it's not as good, but it was, for its time, it was definitely a really cool vehicle. I still actually have not my original one because my parents got rid of most of my original Star Wars toys, but I do have an original Kenner Millennium Falcon. It's packed away, but I do, and it's open and everything, but I do have that vehicle still. But the AT-AT was just, they've done a bigger version now, but even still, it's very similar to the original toy. So the AT-AT was just such a cool toy. Like I said, when they gave us that cardboard one first, because I had that for such a long time, the cardboard cutout one. And then when we finally got the real plastic one, it was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. They need to do a prequel Mortal Kombat movie. Have it start in the past, like the beginning of this new one. Snowspeeder was great for a fighter. Double figure, cockpit, light sounds, harpoon gun, landing skids. Yeah, I agree. There was like I said, it's really hard when it comes to Star Wars vehicles and playsets and stuff back in the day. It's really hard to narrow it down because there were so many cool ones. Even ones that weren't like super cool, like the troop transport, the Rebel troop transport. That was a pretty boring vehicle overall, but it actually kind of nailed how it appeared in the movie and stuff. So it was actually kind of cool. And then you had things like the Droid Factory, which was never in the movie, but it was just kind of a cool idea with all the little droid parts and stuff. So, they just really did a lot with that line back in the day. And it's like, I'm not sure there was really a bad vehicle or toy that they did back then. Even those stuff that they kind of made up, like the steamroller vehicle. I always thought that was like a steamroller, and it like would do the splits. That was just like a totally made up vehicle, but that was still pretty cool. Awesome. Did you get one, or I should say, is that what the website's telling you, or you actually saw them? Because unless it allows you to actually buy it, I don't put a lot of stock in when it says such and such store has it. All right, so yeah, I think we're gonna call it quits for the evening. But as always, thanks everybody who joined in tonight. I really appreciate it. Again, towards the end of the week, we definitely gonna have some Marvel Legend reveals. We'll have to. I don't know as far as like I said, there shouldn't be any official Marvel Legend reveals tomorrow. I don't think. I'll never say never, but as far as I know of, there's not. And then. We'll have to see. I'm not sure how the rest of the week's going to play out, but definitely towards the end of the week, we should be getting some Marvel Legend reveals, maybe even a live stream. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll definitely have coverage of that on Friday. And then, of course, whatever else happens. But, expect, probably news videos, 1 or 2 during the week. And then, of course, we'll do another live stream next week. But as always, guys, really appreciate it. I'll continue. I'll tweet. If there's I'll check, and if there's a delay with this new setup, little sound delay, I'll see if I can tweak it. But knock on wood, actually, everything went pretty smoothly today, so that's cool. And also, let me know if you like, do you like having your comments pop up and stuff? Does that add to these live streams? Like I watch, like everybody does live streams now. not saying I was the first or anything, but it's like I've noticed more and more people are doing live streams. So like I'll occasionally peek in and see what they're doing for features and stuff, and then try and figure out if I can do it myself. But as always, guys, stay safe out there. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.